All right, eggnog enthusiasts, we're going to try another eggnog. Let's go ahead and give this a try. This one is Promised Land Egg Nog. All right, it's old-fashioned eggnog. It says richer and creamier. We're going to give it a try, right? We've tried a bunch of eggnogs. Why not give this one a try? Here's some things I like to begin with already. This is in a plastic bottle. You can see down at the bottom if there's any nutmeg or anything like that in here. I got to be honest, this one's a little bit more expensive. I think it was $7 or $8 for this bottle, and it's not very big. So I've got high hopes for Promised Land Dairy. I'm not sure exactly where Promised Land Dairy is. We'll have to take a look at that later. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's get started with Promised Land Egg Nog. So it says this is a limited edition. I'm going to pour it in this cup. Remember, we pour it in a transparent cup. So we can see what it looks like. And I don't know, it just looks better. This says merry and bright. I don't know. Let's give it a try. Remember, only weirdos fill it up all the way. It just screams desperation if you're... It's not a thirst quencher, for crying out loud. This is eggnog. It's something that we enjoy. Yeah, you don't drink eggnog after a workout or something like that. That's not how this works. Okay, so... when we look at this already, it's not a vibrant yellow. It looks like it should. It looks just kind of yellow. It looks natural, I guess you could say. It doesn't look like they've added a whole lot of other stuff. And take a look, when we swish this around, it's coating the glass really well. Look how it coats the glass. That right there tells you something. That right there tells you it's got a good amount of fat. And when I see that, I can also see little flecks of nutmeg, cinnamon. I've got high hopes for this already. And we can tell also that this is a little bit more viscous. It's a little bit thicker than what you'd get for milk. So let's give it a smell. Ooh, okay, so when I smell this, I smell a very strong vanilla smell to it. That's good. And I feel like this is going to be kind of eggy, and I know that kind of throws people off. Like, why would you want it to be eggy? If you know eggnog, you know it needs that eggy flavor. You don't want it to be too milky. You want some bold flavor to this. At least I do. I want it bold. Anyway, let's go ahead and give it a taste. Okay, first let's talk about the texture. It is rich and creamy. Not quite as rich and creamy as some of the other ones that I've tasted, but on the rich and creamy scale, I'd say this is like pretty high on the rich and creamy scale. Look at how it coats the glass. By the way, here's a fun tip. Whenever you're drinking eggnog, always drink from the same side of the glass. If you drink from the other side, you're going to coat the entire glass. It looks like you don't know what you're doing. You look like a slob. Drink from the same side of the glass each time. Also, you're saving eggnog. Rather than painting the inside of the glass with eggnog, you're drinking the same side. Anyway, now let's go to some of the other flavors. There is a good amount of vanilla in here. Let's try it one more time. There's a good amount of vanilla in here. I'd say that there's a decent amount of cinnamon tones. It really works well with the nutmeg. No one flavor stands out more than the other. It's a pretty good blend. I'd have to say, overall, this one, I'd probably give it pretty high score. I'd say this is closer to an 8. This is not the best eggnog I've ever tried. It leaves just a tiny bit of a funky aftertaste to it, maybe a little bit of a soapy aftertaste. But I'd say overall, this is a good eggnog. It's thick. It's got all the flavors. They work really well. It's not super sweet. It's just kind of sweet. I like this eggnog. This is good. But for the price, it's a little bit high for the price. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the ingredients of this eggnog, and maybe that'll help us form a bigger opinion or a better opinion. So let's see here. It says milk, cream, sugar, non-fat milk. Okay, so we're on the right path right now. Milk, cream, sugar, non-fat milk, egg yolks, natural flavor, Gower gum, which that's used as kind of a thickener, carrageenan, nutmeg, annatto, and turmeric. Contains eggs and milk. This is saying a lot by what it leaves out. There is no corn syrup in here. That's a big deal. These are pretty natural flavors. This is good. I'm pleased with the ingredients here. I'm pleased I'm pleased with the thickness of this, the sweetness, the flavor. Yeah, I'm sticking with an 8, maybe a 8.25, somewhere around there. But Promised Land old-fashioned eggnog. I think I did see some variations of this, maybe like a cinnamon one or something like that. But this is, I'd say this is a pretty good eggnog, a little bit pricey for what it is, for the size. Ideally, I'd go towards some other eggnogs for that price point. But this one's pretty good. Hey, I just want to say, don't forget the gifts. You might be wrapping gifts this Christmas season, but don't forget the best gift of all. The best gift of all is Jesus. Jesus, not just as God coming down as man, but also God coming down as a sacrifice, right? Because we can't pay for what we did wrong, but Jesus can. In fact, his cousin, John the Baptist, introduced him to the rest of the world and says, "Behold the Lamb of God, the one who takes away the sins of the world." If you think back to the Old Testament, how did you get rid of your sin? You had to kill a lamb. Well, now, how are we getting rid of our sin? The Lamb of God, right? He died in our place. So that's what we're celebrating. That's what Christmas is all about. And why not celebrate with a glass of eggnog, with some lights, presents, around the family, around the fire with the family? But don't forget, the reason for the season is the gift, right? The gift of Jesus. Hey, Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching another Nog review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have ideas for things that you want me to review, like maybe a recipe or another kind of eggnog, an eggnog ice cream, I don't know, put it down in the comments down below. If I can find it, I'll give it a try. If you feel so inclined, give me a like and subscribe. I'd love to see that too. Merry Christmas. I hope you guys have a great day.